It's one thing if you don't eat right and you don't exercise and you're fat and unhealthy. That's expected. But it's really bad when you follow commonly told or sold advice, things that a lot of people believe are true, and then you get worse, you get fatter, you get sicker, nothing's working. That's because it's a lie. There's actually some commonly believed lies that people think make you healthier, but they don't. We're going to talk about 8 of the worst ones in fitness and diet. Don't listen to these. Let's go.
Ooh, these are good.
Yeah.
Lies.
I'll start with the first one. By the way, this was like our mission statement when we started the podcast, was to dispel the commonly believed lies. And there's still a lot that are out there. And they're terrible because they're promoted as being truthful. So they're not just, like I said, everybody knows if you don't exercise, if you eat garbage, you eat, junk food, you're expected, or at least you expect the outcome to be what it's going to be. But it's really crappy when you follow the commonly believed advice out there, and then it's like, what's going on here? That's the worst. So I'll start with the first one. This one really annoys me, and that is that plant-based is healthier. Plant-based diets are healthier. This is so often promoted that if I were to take 100 everyday people and polled them, and I said, what is a healthier diet, and I put plant-based in there, I bet you 90% of them would say plant-based is healthier.
There was a lot of money and effort put into that. There was a lot of big push for going away from meat. And so, I mean, that's the last decade, I would say, is like we're battling a lot of that information still.
I agree. I think that this is the example of, when was the last time you saw any diet get that much television and series? Like how many documentaries,
Netflix,
and
everything.
News has a diet made? Think about that.
Yeah.
We've been in this for 2.5 decades, and I do remember the Atkins diet got a lot of pub way back in the days because it was so radical back then, but nowhere near what the vegan diet got in the last decade. And there was countless documentaries made about it.
Yeah. And the worst part about it is it's promoted oftentimes by sources that would be considered authorities. So now I want to be very clear. Plants are not unhealthy. Okay, so I'm not saying, we're not going to say plants are unhealthy.
Also, be clear, you could follow a vegan diet and be very healthy.
You could.
It's not saying you're not.
But plant-based is not healthier. That's a false statement. And first off, I'll just say this: potato chips and Oreo cookies are plant-based. Right? So it's just this broad, ridiculous statement. Also, when they cite studies that show that plant-based is healthier, what they're comparing are plant-based, thoughtful diets versus the standard American, I don't even think about what I eat type of diet. Anything that you have a little bit of thought put into it is probably better than the typical eat whatever you want going on. And you have what's called a self-selection bias. Self-selection bias of people who are trying to improve their health compared to everybody else who isn't even trying. That's what you end up seeing with these studies. But when you control for those things, when you look at a meat-based diet or omnivore diet versus plant-based or vegan, and you compare them with both sides of people actually, who value health, what you find oftentimes, most of the time, is that meat is not just good for you, it's better for you to have some meat in your diet. It's actually incredibly nutrient dense. Here's what you get with, here's some of the risks you get with being too plant-based. Nutrient deficiencies.
Oh, yeah.
Nutrient deficiencies are much higher because meat is the most nutrient dense.
Supplementation has to be part of that protocol.
100%. Meat is the most nutrient dense food on the planet. Now, what's funny is if you Google nutrient dense foods, you're going to get a bunch of plants. It's just not true. If you were to pick one food that you could only eat for the rest of your life and not die, it would have to be meat. There isn't a single plant you could get away with just eating that one thing.
And you got to weigh out the bioavailability, like if your body's actually going to be able to synthesize it right away.
And meat contains certain nutrients that plants either don't contain or they contain in ways that are not very bioavailable. So a healthy diet is healthy. And for most people, this includes a decent amount of animal products, which include meat, organ meats, whole fat dairy. All of those can be very, very healthy when they're part of a good diet. And here's the problem I have. The average person hears this message, really doesn't understand what's going on. So what they do is they take their diet and they just cut meat out.
That's exactly what they do.
So they're eating a crappy diet and then they took out the most nutrient-dense thing that they ate, or maybe the only whole natural food. Like if you look at the typical American diet, it's 80% heavily processed. What's that 20%? What are those 20% of whole natural foods? It's probably eggs, milk, and meat.
Yeah, or meat.
It's probably the only thing that they're eating that's whole and natural is eggs, meat, and milk. And then what they end up doing is cutting those out and typically replacing them with a plant-based alternative, like a plant-based patty or some kind of a
cashew milk,
a vegan milk or something like that, which is like ridiculously processed. Yeah. And what ends up happening is you get worse health. They get more nutrient deficiency. So no, don't believe this lie. It's totally false.
Yeah, I had had a little over a handful of family and close friends that were influenced by those documentaries, and it's exactly what they did. Like they just literally cut out the meat and replaced it with the processed version of that thing. That was the extent of whatever.
Worse.
Yeah, no, totally. It was, and again, I know there's people. I have friends that actually are very, very successful vegan dieters that do take the time to balance it out. Been doing it long before it was popular, and it works for them. But in my experience training clients, it's one of the hardest diets to have a client follow and keep them healthy and hitting their nutrient. I mean, it's just so difficult to do that without.
It's extreme. I don't understand why we promote these extreme diets so much. I mean, that's the same as the carnivore diet. It's extreme.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Yeah, just eating meat also is
what happened to balance and being rational? You know, it's like we get so far away.
But again, I'll compare two extreme diets. We'll go vegan versus carnivore. Neither one is ideal. One of them requires a lot more planning.
Yep.
It's not carnivore.
Well, one of them, you could literally eat one thing all the time.
And you're probably not, here's the deal. You're probably not.
You can survive.
The odds that you're going to get a nutrient deficiency if you just ate meat and a lot of meat are actually quite low. I'm not saying it's healthy, but it's actually quite low. The odds that you're going to get a nutrient deficiency if all you eat are plants and you don't use multivitamins and vitamins and nutrients, supplemental nutrients, the odds of a nutrient deficiency are relatively high.
Yeah, pretty high.
And it requires an incredible amount of planning, and it wouldn't exist in nature. A vegan human without modern grocery stores is dead.
Yeah.
You just because of all the stuff we're talking about. So anyway, it's not healthier. The next big lie is just eat less. You want to lose weight, you want to improve your health, just eat less. Mm-hmm. That's not only is it oversimplified, but what ends up happening when people do this, well, there's a few things that happen. Either one, just eating less results in some weight loss, but also results in a significant amount of muscle loss. So they get rid of this protective, metabolically active tissue. So they lose mobility, they lose strength. Their hormone profile tends to go worse. And just eating less, if you don't change what you eat and you just eat less, this almost always results in rebound because of the strong appetite signals that come, and because you're eating.
And again, nutrient deficiency.
You're eating a lot of heavily processed foods, so then you just eat less, but it's still a lot of processed foods. The appetite signal is so high with those foods that it's impossible to follow. So this is just this really oversimplified message, and I think a lot of people realize this. I think they realize it's not just eat less. I think a lot of people would say that there's more to it than just doing that.
At the root of every single popular diet that was successful, this is it.
Yeah.
So insert diet that you've heard of that somebody had success, and the reason why they did was because it just put parameters around what they were eating before, or cut things out that we were eating before, and naturally created a calorie deficit. Mm-hmm. And if all you care about is seeing the scale go down 10 pounds and you don't care of the quality of tissue that you have or don't have or what you lose, then that will work. Unfortunately, that is not a smart strategy long term. In the initial, you could lose 10 pounds that way, but your metabolism is going to slow down. You're going to lose muscle. You're going to be weaker. Like, not a good place to be and not sustainable. And so all in all, it is a terrible strategy, even for weight loss. And that sounds counterintuitive because anybody who's listening who is, grossly overweight thinks, okay, I eat. But unfortunately, what happens is they eat too much of all the wrong foods and they don't eat enough of all the right foods. And really what they need to do, more importantly than eating less, is balance out what they're eating. And that also naturally will reduce calories, but then it'll actually give them what they need in order to build their metabolism.
Today's program giveaway is MAPS Anabolic Advanced. If you want to win, leave a comment below this video in the first 24 hours that we drop it. Subscribe to this channel and also turn on notifications. Do all of those things, and if you win, we'll let you know in the comment section. We also have a sale. MAPS 15 minutes is half off. Head over to maps15minutes.com and use the code MUSCLE50 for the 50% off discount. Back to the show. Here's some interesting, I mean, the numbers might be a little off, but if you look at the data on longevity, you're actually better off being 15% overweight than you are being 15% underweight, okay? A lot of people don't know this. Being underweight, actually the longevity on that's terrible. And you're better off being fit and overweight than you are being unfit and underweight. Now, why am I saying that? Because if you just eat less and you don't do anything for exercise, you don't improve your fitness, for a lot of people, this may actually result in worse health. Definitely, in many cases, a lowered quality of life. So exercise has to be a big part of this.
Big factor.
Next up, this is a new lie that's come out, because what we have now, for the first time in history, is a truly effective medical intervention for obesity. Like truly effective. We've had interventions in the past, and I'm talking about non-surgical ones that have shown some promise, but they don't even come close to this new one, which are these GLP-1 medications. And GLP-1 medications have promise in combination with the correct application of exercise and management of diet. But the lie is this: a GLP-1 by itself is the way to go. You just go on a GLP-1 and it's going to solve a lot of these or all of your problems for you. And that's just not the case. We have an obesity epidemic, but we also have this other epidemic nobody talks about, which is this under-muscled or weakness epidemic. I've cited this statistic before, but like the average college-age male today has the grip strength of a 65-year-old man in 1983 or something like that. So we're just weak. And so what happens when you go on a GLP-1 without strength training, without trying to hit protein, you're just eating less. You end up losing muscle because the body tries to match the lower caloric intake by reducing its metabolic rate. And so you end up skinnier but weaker, skinnier with less muscle. And this is not a good long-term approach by itself. You have to apply proper exercise.
If you don't get ahead of it and put these parameters in place, and you're just listening to your body's signals at this point, and you're not motivated really to consume as much calories as you were before. You're not motivated to seek out protein. You're not getting those building blocks to maintain and preserve the muscle mass you have. So inevitably you shrink down, but now you're under muscled and you're frail.
Well, your previous point proves this one.
That's right.
I mean, this is the point of, you starting off with just eat less is a terrible piece of advice. That's all the GLP-1 is predominantly doing. There's other factors, what it's doing on a neurological level and what it helps with people with addiction and so forth, which is what's promising and why it still can be used. And we still help people that use this because it can be a tool. Unfortunately, the main mechanism in which it gives people results is the just eating less.
Yeah.
And so many people that think still that that's the strategy go, oh, this is great because nothing's ever made me eat this little before and be satisfied and okay. So that's the most dangerous part. And this is what we've been talking about for a while that we're concerned about with the GLP-1s is, it's going to be an incredible tool for a lot of people, but it's also going to hurt a lot of people that don't know how to actually manage the nutrients.
I think it's an amazing tool for fitness and health coaches. I think it's not a great tool.
Very helpful, yeah.
It is not a great tool
for
for the average person. Yeah. If you combine it with a good coach who will do appropriate strength training with you, because there's appropriate is what's going to give you is what you want, right? Don't overdo it and all that, right? So appropriate strength training with also appropriate dietary coaching, because you're going to want to hit protein, which may be difficult. It's already difficult to do that anyway, but on a GLP-1 it'd be more difficult. But if you do this with a coach, you've got yourself, in my 100% opinion, strong opinion, this is the best medical intervention or tool I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Without a coach, I don't see this as being a great solution at all. And the data will support it. Is it better than having being morbidly obese? Yeah, but here's the other part of it. The morbidly obese are also under-muscled. I remember decades ago that study came out that totally went against the myth that being overweight also meant you probably had a lot of muscle. No, sarcopenia is more common in the obese. So you're going to get even worse when it comes to muscle strength and muscle loss just by going to GLP-1. So work with a coach with it, and then it's amazing. Without a coach, not necessarily a great option. Next up, this one you see all the time in just with your general practitioner, doctor, or whatever. And that's, you go to the doctor, you know something's off, and they're like, no, your hormones are fine. Hormones look good. You're fine. You're within range. That's a lie for a lot of people. And I know that a lot of people feel that on the inside. They go, this can't be right. Something's not right. I know they said that I'm within range, but God, I feel so off or just so not good. The only time you'll get a really good, or oftentimes where you'll get the best answer with this, is with a hormone specialist who's forward thinking, because they don't just base hormone levels off of here's the top, here's the bottom, general population. They'll also base it off of your symptoms. And oftentimes one doctor who's not a specialist will say, looks like you're okay. You'll go to a real specialist, they'll say, but you have all these symptoms and your testosterone's near the bottom. Hormone replacement therapy is probably going to dramatically improve the quality of your life. And it does. This is a lie that a lot of women have heard, where they go to the doctor and they're like, I don't know what's going on. I've never stored body fat on my belly before. My body doesn't feel like it's mine anymore. I feel like I'm going crazy. What's happening? Yeah. It's normal. You're fine.
Here, take some antidepressants.
Right. And then they end up working with someone who's forward thinking, who does appropriate hormone therapy. They're like, you gave me my life back. But this is a tough one, right? This is a tough one because it's oftentimes your doctor who tells you this.
I love that you picked this one because when I think back to all the clients that I trained, one of the greatest challenges I ever had was a client that was told by the general practitioner that they are fine or they're okay. Yet my client was complaining of all these symptoms. We couldn't lose body fat. We weren't building muscle. It was just like, I was so perplexed by what was happening. And it wasn't until I had clients later on, because early on, it was not popular to go see a hormone specialist or a functional practitioner. Like, that is really the last decade has that really, now they've been around forever, but it's not been.
You had to go to Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
It wasn't mainstream. It wasn't talked about a lot. And so it was later in my career that I started to see these clients that, oh yeah, my GP said I was fine, but then I went and saw the specialist and they put me on this and put me on that, and oh my God, changed my life. Then later on as a trainer, I knew to say that, ask it. When my clients would tell me these symptoms and say, my doctor said I'm fine. I'm like, you know what? I want you to go see so-and-so and have them do your work, and then come, and boy, it made a huge difference. And so I still think this is a very, very common one that a lot of people have no. I just had this conversation with my brother-in-law who's turning 40 this year, and I'm fine. I think I'm just like, you should go get your blood work done by a specialist and have them talk to you about it, because I'm willing to bet that there's some areas that we could totally improve that you have no idea about.
Yeah, I have a family friend who she was a D1 athlete, swimmer. Competitive, fitness was always something that came easy to her, very consistent. And as she started getting older, she's just like, this doesn't feel like my body. I'm storing body fat in weird places. It doesn't look the same. When I wake up in the morning, I feel like I get hit by a truck. My libido's not great. I'm getting anxiety. I'm not an anxious person. And finally went and talked to a specialist on this, got on hormone replacement therapy. She's in her 40s. And she's just like, this is crazy. Yeah. She's like, I almost got on.
World of difference.
Yeah. She's like, this is just life-changing. All right, here's another big lie. Just go run. You want to get fit? Just go run. Terrible advice.
Still common too.
It's not because running
it's like old school
is
coach
bad.
advice.
Running is great.
I mean, it's kind of bad.
No, it's not.
It's kind of bad.
Well, here's why it's not great advice. So I'll get clear, right? There are a few things that the human body does well physically when the body is in peak condition and you can do these things well or whatever. You have good skill with it. Running is one of them. Humans can outrun almost any animal. We have this incredible stamina, big knee joints, big glutes. We're on two legs. The problem is it's a skill that we forget because we stop running when we're kids, and then when we're in our 30s, we want to get back into shape, so we buy some running shoes.
Couch to sprinting,
and then we go run, and it's like you don't have that skill anymore. And this is a high skill thing that you just don't have, and you're going to go do it to fatigue. This is why the injury rate in running is, it's near the top, is because you lose the skill, you go do it to fatigue, and it's a terrible way to exercise because it's not appropriate for you. So for the vast majority of people who are starting to exercise later in their late 20s, 30s, and beyond, don't just go run. It's a terrible choice.
It's not just that. It's also, since most people struggle with hitting, the previous points you made about hitting protein and getting the nutrients they need, And then if you take that person, which is the average person, okay, not getting the nutrients they need, overeating the stuff they don't need to, not getting enough protein, and then they don't strength train, putting that person right there on a running routine is the fastest way to lose muscle.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, and if we know how important and protective muscle is and how beneficial it is to your metabolism, then, and that's the recipe for losing even more faster, it's a terrible idea. That's why it's such a bad idea. Aside from what I mean, because you're right. It's a skill and most people suck at it, and then it causes all these aches and pains and issues. That's for sure a problem. But I don't even list that as my number one. Number one to me is what it does metabolically to the average person, as most people don't get what their body needs, and then putting that person running is the fastest way for them to lose muscle.
Yeah, and it still exists mainly because it's the most simplistic thought process towards being able to alter your body's composition. It's like, I can just get up and go run. And it's like, it doesn't require a lot of like planning and steps and configuring actual like resistance training programs.
You're right. I mean, you pair that with GLP-1 or eating less, and it is the fastest way for you to lose weight on the scale.
Yeah.
Terrible though. Terrible strategy for overall health, but yet still very common. To your point, Justin, because it is the simplest way paired with eating less to see that number go down on the scale, which is what people tend to obsess over, is just that, oh my God, I'm 100 pounds or 50 pounds or say the number overweight. And if I just cut my calories dramatically and get moving more than I ever moved,
quickest path that they see.
I'm gonna. But it's unsustainable. It's unhealthy. It's a terrible strategy. Yet we still see it.
No, I would switch that to just go lift. And at least strength training, even people still do it totally wrong, but at least strength training, people have this general idea that there's some skill and technique involved. When it comes to running, people are like, oh, I just go run. I just go run until I'm tired. Yeah. Oh, no, don't do that because you don't know how to run anymore. Next up, the glycemic index. It's super important. It's actually not important at all. It's not important because for a few different, now the glycemic index is real, meaning some foods will impact blood sugar more than others, generally speaking. But why it's not important is because these foods are almost never eaten alone. You almost always eat them with something else. So you could eat a high glycemic index fruit like a banana, but you typically eat it with something else, or rice, but you'll eat it with something else. So that's why it's not that important. And then there's also individual variance. I've seen people's blood sugar react to foods that didn't make any sense because there's an individual variance. And on this list of things that I would teach my client to really pay attention to, that doesn't make the top 10 because there's other things that are far more important to pay attention to. So, and here's another one. You eat protein first. The high glycemic index food you just ate is no longer high glycemic index.
Mitigated a lot of that influence.
That's
there.
it.
Now, do you think it got its popularity because of maybe digestion and cravings though?
I think it got popular because of diabetes.
Yeah.
I think when you're diabetic, you have to really pay attention.
This used to be gold standard for me. Especially if I was structuring like options for them to go grocery shopping. It was like, well, here's the big offenders.
Yeah, but like, let's say,
I mean, because I like Justin, I used to speak to this my early years as a trainer, and I had some relative success to it. And so what I'm trying to draw the conclusion to is that, well, okay, why did I have some success with that? And what I would guess would be because it did tamp down cravings, right? So people that were choosing these foods that were lower on the glycemic index, those foods are similar, not always, because to your point, sometimes an avocado can send somebody through the roof. But for the most part, choosing those foods tend to be better on digestion and tend to lower the cravings, which made it easier to adhere to the protocol.
Well, usually what happens is we were trading out a processed food or less healthy food for a healthier food. It was almost never switching out white rice for brown rice. Like, well, brown rice is lower on the glycemic index, so that's not better. Typically, it's like, oh, instead of having that Wonder Bread, let's replace that with oatmeal or something like that, right? So that's probably where the success came from. But this is just not. It's just not important, especially if you eat protein. Especially eat protein first. Yeah. Especially if you exercise, if you strength train. It's just nothing. It's just not really something you need to pay attention to. Next up, it's that sore and sweaty means you had a great workout. It doesn't. Sweat doesn't mean you had a great workout. Just means you got hot. Yep. And soreness is a terrible indicator of exercise, effectiveness. Really, soreness more often than not tells you did too much. Yes. What happens is that people chase soreness and sweatiness, and they chase it, and they end up compromising their progress and success because they're doing a workout that's inappropriate and just not effective. Yeah. So don't chase those two things. Yep. And then last up, organic is the most important thing to consider when you're looking at your diet. There are things that are more important before you get to organic, like food quality of like whole foods versus processed foods, calories, protein, carbohydrates, and fats. And then when you get those dialed in, then you can go organic.
I'm glad you put that up here too, because even though we would all say that we're pro organic,
Yes.
pro grass fed, pro those things, it is not the end all be all, and it is.
I didn't hammer this with my clients till I figured the other stuff out first.
No, yeah, there's so many other things that are far more. And not only that, but the more I read and learn about the organic foods and the stuff that they get away with and do too, it's like I don't even know how much of there's truth is it that much healthier. Yeah. Like that better of a choice.
Herbicides, pesticides still make their way there.
Yeah, I wanted to believe that. I was making something that was being sprayed with and less shit on it. But it's like the more I find out that, man, is organic really that much? It's just more expensive. I know that. And it's like the thought process for me now is that I go, well, if I have the disposable income to spend a little bit more money in hopes that it's a little bit better than the other thing, but definitely it's not my strategy of weight loss, building muscle. It has no relevance to that whatsoever.
Yeah. That's later on down the line is when I would talk about that with clients. Anyway, I got to talk to you guys about, so Doug shared with me, I did not realize how much the 8 Sleep system AI adjusts itself throughout the night.
So dope.
So what it does, people aren't familiar, 8 Sleep goes on your bed, it cool or warm your bed, and then it monitors your sleep and adjusts itself on the fly. It uses AI technology to continue to just get you better sleep all the time. Doug shared a report with me that he got on his. Doug, how often or how many adjustments did yours make throughout the night?
So last night was 20 times.
20.
Wow.
But on average, at the low would be like 16 or 17 up to 40 times as I look into past reports.
And so it's essentially monitoring your sleep and adjusting and getting you better sleep the whole time. So it's like you got a little sleep buddy in bed with you who's helping you get better sleep.
A little warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's measuring your body temperature, your movement, all that, and then it adjusts accordingly.
That is
and
so
I
cool.
actually have one of the older models and the newer ones if you're snoring, for example. So you get a score for how long you've been snoring during the night and the level of snoring that you've been doing.
That's crazy.
And
we
I'd break records
that's like
on that
next
one.
level.
Oh, I bet.
Before we had 8 Sleep, we had the Chili Pad, and I remember how much I was like, oh my God, this was such a game changer. And it's what I feel like, because I swore by that back in the days, is like I was walking everywhere and I got introduced to a car, like a Civic, that took me some time. It was like, oh my God, this is crazy. It gets me there. Literally, 8 Sleep is like the Rolls Royce version of that. It's like how amazing that thing is, to where I don't think I have had to refill the one I've had for I don't know how many years now. I think I've had to refill the water 3 times in
almost never.
Yeah, almost never. Maybe once a year I've had to refill the water. Once I set my adjustments, it doesn't matter what time of year it is, the season, when I go to bed, when I don't have to mess with anything. It literally knows my body so well and adjusts to it to be the perfect temperature. I was thinking about last night, I was thinking about this because here we are we just had a nice little hot spell that came through in the, middle of August or whatever we're at right now. I sleep with my sheet and comforter on me because it can keep me and my house at 70 something degrees. Never in my life have I ever been able to do that until this. And so the fact that my house could be in the 70s, I have a sheet and a comforter on me, and it still keeps my body the perfect temperature is like mind blowing.
That's crazy where the technology is. It's so wild.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
How tough is it when you go to another bed?
Oh,
that doesn't have it.
It does do that. I will say that the caveat, it does ruin.
Yeah, ruin it
or I look at it like I appreciate it that much more because it's like, wow, I didn't realize how much better it's made my home sleep until I go sleep somewhere else. I'm like, damn, this is.
I gotta take a cold shower before I go somewhere else now, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
to get my body temp down.
I gotta tell you guys, speaking of technology, we went to the store yesterday. My son, my 4-year-old, at the end of the night, he gets like a review from mom, how he did during the day. And we're trying to encourage him to be more obedient, whatever. So he'll get $1. He'll get $1 at the end of the night if everything works out. If he doesn't, then now what's cool about this isn't where I was going to go, but just some context. He does his own review. So she's like, how do you think you did? And it's really cool because he'll be honest.
Really?
Yeah, dude. He'll be like, well, I did that thing to my sister, but then I went and apologized to her. And she'll be like, well, that's really good. You think you did good? He's like, yeah, I did good. And so anyway, So he's been saving up his money. He saved up enough money to go buy a toy. So we go to Target to, buy a toy or whatever. And do you guys remember the movie Minions?
Of course.
Do you remember the fart gun?
Yep.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
You could buy a fart gun.
Like the sounding, or is it actually fart?
No. Okay. When we've
Like
seen it,
fumes come out of it?
we've seen it at Target before, and he's always wanted it, and we've always said no because I thought that would just make fart noises, and he'd be disappointed.
Yeah.
This time he looked at it. He's like, oh, but it's dumb. But I'm like reading it. I'm like, wait a minute. There's this little like liquid that you fill in there.
No, it actually
makes a little gas, and it shoots fart rings,
What?
and they smell.
Shut up.
Yeah, dude. So we bought it.
I didn't know that. I thought it was just a sound.
No.
Oh,
so it
that's
makes fart rings.
Wow.
So we bought
I
it.
didn't know about that.
Which was probably a mistake because all day he was chasing us and blasting us in the face.
Oh my
with
god!
words.
Is it pretty good as far as like how raunchy it is, or is it?
I mean, the smell isn't. It's not great.
It's not like stink bomb.
It's no.
Did you guys? I mean, I went through a
They get
phase of
sued for
stink
that.
bombs.
Oh,
yeah.
I went
Love
through. I went through.
Oh,
stink
you go
bomb
to Chinatown
phases.
and bought like
The little
so
glass
many of those
ampules?
things.
How
How
Yes.
come you can't? Can you get those? I mean, I'm sure Amazon. Can you get those on Amazon?
I think they're illegal.
Are they?
I think so.
They were like those little like Mexico
I
vials,
can't
right?
tell you people that made throw up with those things.
Do you know the move was?
Those were the best.
You know what we used to do? I thought was the best way is I would tape them in the door jamb of people's doors. And so
That's brilliant.
And sometimes it would be there for a long time before someone finally like
That's
closed it.
vicious.
Yeah, then they close the door and and have no idea where
It's
it
like
came from.
super egg smell.
Yeah.
Super.
yeah.
Yeah,
Doug,
like
did you
rotten
find
eggs.
them? That's fart spray.
They have fart spray.
Yeah, these were vials.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, these were little
They were
vials.
little glass
and when
ampules.
Straight
you-
sulfur. Just
I mean,
in
it
your
Oh,
face.
here's some right here. Look
There-
at stink
oh,
bombs right
that's
here.
them right there.
Oh, yeah, the glass.
Those are the real ones right there. Can you order some?
Sure.
Come on, let's order some. Let's
Yes,
come on.
dude.
Buy them right
Hey, we
now.
won't tell the
Prank
rest of the
wars.
staff, and we'll have
You know
some
what?
fun.
It'll stink up the whole place.
Do not do it in here, please.
yeah.
No, the best thing was we would do it in crowds. So if we were hanging out anywhere, we would put it on the floor and just step on it and then walk away and just wait. Wait for the reaction.
The door
I
jams.
know. I
is the
did it
move,
at
dude.
school all the time, dude.
Those things were putrid too. It was like really
Those are
bad.
them. Those are them right there.
I can't believe they still sell them. Is it legal to order it to California?
I have no idea. I'll try.
Everything's illegal in California. I'm surprised that they.
Those are fun.
Yeah, those are great, dude. That's awesome. Anyway,
So
I got
real fart guy.
I got to tell you guys about. So you know how I've brought up this revival. Nobody's denying it anymore. Everybody's talking about how there's a revival. And there's so many people, coming to faith right now. Nobody's denying it. Bible sales are up. It's like it's real. There's more stats have come out that are really, really wild. Opposite of what we've ever seen in modern times. So trip off this. For the first time that we've recorded in modern history, the revival is being led by the youth. So the highest percentage of people going back is Gen Z, not older people. It's a revival happening with young people. So that's number one. So younger people are going to church and reading the Bible more than the older generations. That hasn't happened since we've recorded this.
Interesting.
And the second thing is that it's young men are leading it. All the past modern revivals were women led.
Oh, interesting.
They were moms and
didn't know
grandmas.
that.
It's young men. Young men are leading this whole thing right now. How crazy is that?
I mean, it has to be this crazy thirst for structure.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think young men have been just blasted
They just
and
been
hammered
discarded, over the last few years. So
That
much.
too, and we've gone so and needed in some cases of like free everything, free like do whatever you want, be whatever you want to be, like so much in that direction that I feel like we've gone the pendulum so far is like, maybe we need a little bit of structure and guidelines. I feel like people are starting to kind of wake up
How
that
about we have a little guidance?
I think that's what you're seeing right now.
But it's crazy that it's the younger generation is outpacing the older generations, and that it's young men more so than women, which is wild. So they're reporting, they're like, yeah, dude, we got all these guys coming to our services, which typically, that's the stereotype, right? You go to church, a bunch of women, there's like a few guys in there.
So I want to revisit a debate that I'm currently still wrong on, but I'm gonna double down on what I thought that you.
Is this about going to the moon versus?
No, not that one. We'll revisit
Washing
that one
machines.
too.
Yeah.
No, do you remember when we talked about streaming services?
Yeah.
And my theory was that we would eventually see one or two monopolies gobble up everybody. And your theory was no, it's just going to diversify more, and you're going to have all this. And to this point, you're right. I mean, we've got to the point where it's annoying. It's very annoying. It's annoying. I hate it. I'm now up to probably double of what my cable was.
It's more expensive, than what we were at,
because it's so. But we're seeing. So did you see the guys the deal with Paramount?
No.
And
with
UFC?
The UFC,
$7.7 billion deal. No more pay-per-view.
No more pay-per-view.
So now and this is why I'm bringing this up right now, because I do believe these streaming companies are starting to realize the value of stuff like that, of like buying an audience, that we're going to invest billions into buying up. And so I still believe, and I don't know if it's Paramount, I don't know if it's Apple, I don't know who it's going to be, but I think a few of these are starting to realize how obviously attention is one of the most valuable things today.
Yeah.
And we're spread across so many different platforms that somebody's got to go, okay, we're just going to just buy. We're going to
put consolidate.
Yes,
this?
we're going to buy all of these streaming services to put it under ours, so we can capture all those people. And up front, it's going to cost us a lot of money, but in the long run, we're going to have all the attention. Well, so I still think this is going to happen.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know if you remember what
people want that.
I don't know if you remember.
And that's why I think it's going to happen, Justin. Because I think people want that too.
So I don't know if you remember what I said when we had that debate. So if you follow the history of how markets work, what tends to happen is it goes to more decentralized, more options, and then eventually it goes to less options and consolidation. That's typically how it follows. So you have lots and lots and lots of different options, and then eventually you have these large corporations that purchase those. If you look at like food production, there's like 3 companies that own
like a bunch of them, all those brands.
So it probably, if it follows the typical patterns, that'll probably happen at some point.
I think we're almost at that tipping point where there's too many.
Too much.
There's too many. And to Justin's point, so many people are getting frustrated and want that. Eventually, a couple of these big players, and that's an example of it, they're just like, you know what? It's going to cost us billions, but now we're going to own everybody who watches UFC on pay-per-view are going to be ours. So yeah, it's going to take us 3 to 5 years to recoup our money, but then we're going to have that audience.
Yeah, so the internet's what caused it, right? It was all internet. You had this unlimited bandwidth, and so it caused huge decentralization, lots and lots and lots of different options. If it follows the old patterns that it's always followed, then you tend to see these large companies, corporations purchasing lots of these small brands, consolidating them. But there's one wrench that could be thrown into the machine, which is AI. So AI could potentially turn every person into their own.
Have you seen the
content
network
creator.
for that? There's a network that's just all AI-driven shows right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Network?
I'm trying to remember if it's through if Amazon owns it or which company owns it, but it's all these kid shows initially, and it's all literally AI cartoons and AI shows, and they're starting to just pump them out and hope that people will gravitate towards it. But it's like, that's going to be a whole nother option of content and entertainment in different directions.
Well, so the ultimate direction, in my opinion, may look like this, where it's so decentralized because everyone's going to have personalized content for them. So there will be no content provider because AI will get so good and intelligent. You'll have your own AI.
No, it won't happen. You can't.
You don't think so?
Well, for example, did you guys see what Jerry sent over this morning with the NFL? So to literally to access all national and regionally televised NFL games, you know what you have to spend just to see? ESPN DTC $29 a month, Amazon Prime $14.99, Peacock $11, Paramount $11, Fox $19.99, Netflix $22, and NFL ticket $4.80.
Stupid.
Just to watch every football game.
Stupid.
Which you used to be able to do basically in one place. You now have to go through, because all those streaming services bought a couple games and bought rights. And so now if you're a football fan,
you got to go all over the place.
You got to spend over $1,000 if you just want to watch.
Well, sports will be different. Sports is always because you have to, because people are in it. I still think that, I mean, you still have reality shows. Reality shows are like one of the #1 viewers, so that's not going to be AI. Nobody's going to want to watch AI generated reality shows. That's not. You don't think so?
Of course not. That's not what makes reality shows NPCs. Interesting is the realness and the rawness.
When you can't tell the difference, I don't know if people are going to care.
Yeah, but people will know. Like the same reason.
I don't think people are going to care.
The same reason why you put 100% human grade on our podcast is for that same reason.
I'm hoping.
Well, I think you're right. I think over time, in a very short period of time, when AI does start to produce a lot of this content, you're going to want the real people.
Have you seen people have been making with AI? They've been making short films by prompts. That's it. They just prompt it, and they'll say, and
you know
they'll
what,
tell it what they want.
what's going to be really? I heard an interview.
Weird.
I heard an interview this weekend that actually described AI really interesting, and they described AI in the content world as this fog that is going to cover the lower level, and if you haven't already taken off in the air, to get up through the fog is going to be really, really difficult to be found.
That's true.
If you're already above, you're going to have you're going to be
already got
okay.
your
You're
audience
unique and you have your own content to work with.
You're exactly. But it's going to be so good that it just creates this thick fog above it. So taking off is going to be really difficult in the next couple of years.
Break through, yes.
And to break through is going to be, you're going to be have to be very special or have a very unique proposition to be able to get an audience because of the amount of content that will be AI produced. But if you're already up there, I believe you're going to soar just fine because people will still be like, well, I know they're real.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And I already have a relationship with them. I already trust them.
I agree with that.
I thought that was a really interesting way to describe it.
Did you see that there's a state that banned AI for therapy already? I think it was Illinois. Maybe, Doug, you can look it up.
Really?
Yeah. The first law that was passed.
I don't know if I like that.
Against, well, it's because there's been a couple cases. Now, I don't know if this is sensationalized or if this is just lobby groups trying to, save themselves.
Right.
So I haven't looked into it, but I do know there's been a couple cases where people have used AI for therapy and have committed suicide or gone.
Oh, wow.
Have gone
bad
mad.
advice.
So,
Well, because it's so reinforcing and so
right, you believe it to be true. It says to do this thing.
Yeah, Illinois. It is. It's the only state that has explicitly banned AI tools for making mental health decisions in therapy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I had this great conversation with my sister this weekend. We were all up in Truckee together. I did my annual siblings trip, right? Just all of us siblings. And
can we talk about the war that's happening up there?
Oh,
Can we cover that,
dude? Yeah, I mean, you can bring it up if you want. It's insane. Everybody is having that battle, I guess, up there right now. So,
mice, everywhere.
Yeah, we have an infestation, and I guess everybody is having it up there right now. So it's a crazy battle. But anyways, talking to my sister, and we're talking about personal growth and all this stuff like that. And she's like, you know how much? She goes, how much I use AI? And I'm like, oh, really? I didn't know that. And she's like, oh yeah. She goes. She starts reading these books that she's telling me she's reading. I'm like, man, those are all great books. I said, those are all books I would have recommended to you. I was like, who recommended that to you? She goes, AI. And I'm like, well, how did you get to that? Would you prompt it? And she goes, well, what I've been doing is she goes, when I recognize a bad behavior of mine, or I recognize, like I get in a fight with her husband, or I do something where the kids frustrate me and I kind of like, I lose it a little bit. She's like, I've gone back and I literally prompt it like, she says, I tell it what happened. I tell the AI what happened, and then ask it, why might this be? And then when it gives her the answer of some of the possibilities, then she goes, what are some books that I can read to help me with this? And then it prompts her in directions. And she's like,
that's cool.
She goes, it's been game changer for her. She's like, cool. Yeah. And I'm like, that is a really cool way to use that. And she said she's had great success with the recommendation, which is kind of like she's basically giving herself self-therapy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's basically.
Well, book recommendations are different than what they banned. Like they banned AI from giving actual.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It is different, but I mean, also it's a slippery slope, right? You start banning tools.
Yeah, because there's a couple cases. I don't know if you can find these, Doug, where because of its validating nature, because it will validate you constantly, that people have gone manic. Who are on that borderline, and I believe someone committed suicide or did something because they were encouraged.
Have you seen what happened with Google Gemini?
No.
So it went like manic.
Oh, is that the one where?
Yeah, there was some system error that was trying to fix, and so the engineer left for I don't know how long.
It was trying to fix itself.
It was trying to fix itself, and it got caught in this loop. Like, I'm so disappointed in myself. I am the worst. ChatGPT ever. I don't deserve it. Like, I'm the worst in the universe. I shouldn't exist. Blah blah blah. And like self inflicting. And it just kept going and going and going to the point where it like started just ones and zeros. And he's like, I can't handle this anymore. I'm going crazy. And then the guy just came back and had to like unplug it.
Dude, that's crazy. What does that show right there, Doug? Read that to me.
Yeah. So in October 2024, the mother of a 14-year-old filed a lawsuit against Character.ai and Google, claiming the chatbot encouraged her son's suicide.
See?
Wow.
So,
Yeah, because it's so validating. It's very encouraging. So instead of like a human therapist would be like, well, you know, we don't want to go there. Like that's not. It's like, yeah, tell me more about that.
You're onto something.
Yeah, you actually feel that because, you know, type of deal.
Well, too, I mean, have you seen, so, I mean, our students are screwed. Like, let's be honest. Like, so they have these ChatGPT pens where you can.
Pen?
Yeah. So you literally can scan the lines. So say you're taking like a test that's multiple choice.
No,
you scan the question, and then on this little prompt like screen on the pen, it'll then, you could actually like ask
What
it.
a
It gives you the answer.
It gives you the answer, and then he goes, and then the guy's circling A because it like follows what the answer is.
How are teachers working around this stuff? This has got to be so.
They're using AI to combat it.
You can't have anything. Like you just have to go in there and raw dog it.
It's gonna be it's gonna be old school test taking. Come to the front of the class, answer these, and then
go for the class and like almost like ask you orally. You know,
I mean, actually, you're probably right. We're probably going to see more of like you on the spot. You have to present in front of people in order. Like, how else are these teachers?
I got in a fight with Ethan about this, and it was not like a fight. It was more like a discussion because he was like very upset that they were disallowing. They actually have an app at his school that won't allow him to have any other apps. Like it's just school and texting and phone. And, you know, he's all concerned because he's got these ties. He's trying to quote unquote build this little business thing for like through social media and whatever. I'm like trying to talk him out of it, but you know, that's a battle of its own. But I'm trying to explain to him like what they're doing in comparison to other schools and why this is good. And he's like, thinks it's so like, he's like almost like this is fascist. You know? Like, you're ridiculous, dude. Like this is literally benefiting you to become a better student,
bro. He's your son.
He's like bucking the system, you know, and he's so mad about it. And I had this long conversation about it and finally kind of won him over and to the point where it's like, do your own self-experiment. If you feel the pull to your phone and you can like abstain, then, you know, that's one thing. But I guarantee like there's a lot more addictive impulse there that you don't even realize. And that now you're bringing that into where you're trying to learn. Yeah. And so you're not absorbing what in person people are actually trying to educate and help you work through cognitively. And so it's like you're cutting that whole process out, which every other school that's allowing this involved in here is dumbing them down. Their test scores suck.
You're right.
Their IQs are dropping. And so they should be shamed. It's a shame thing, like to these schools that are allowing it to pervade
you're right.
the environment.
You are, and you're okay. Now I'm thinking about how the schools combat this. Is you're gonna have to have these digital tools that all the schooling will have to be on. That way they can build in software that protects any sort of uploading or searching outside of there. So you have to create your own work. That's how they're going to do it. That's they're getting
better.
Every kid will have like it's his own or her own iPad or whatever tool it will be, but it will have specific apps and ways of being able to tell if something was uploaded into it or used.
It's like it has to be a closed network.
There's so many backdoor things now too that like kids don't realize that parents have access to, like software wise. Like so Canopy was one, but there's a new one that we actually have, you know, with our son, and he doesn't realize. So if he's actually in a car that's going 80 miles an hour, we know that. And so we can tell, and like, you know, and we know where he is. And like, it's, again, I'm not really in, like Courtney's very much more of the spy. Like I just don't like, I try to like, you know, do my best to, you know, show by example and not like intervene his little experience and let him fail and trip and all that. But like, she's like, you know, I can just look this up. And like, I'm like, what? Like, it's crazy, like sophisticated.
Dude, teenagers are wild, dude. It's so funny. Jessica might volunteer to at the church to work with teenagers. She's super nervous. I'm like, why are you nervous? She's like, I don't like teenagers. I'm like,
I
what
would
do you
be
mean?
too.
She goes, I said, why do they make you nervous? She goes, they're so confident and they don't know anything. They're so confident, but they know nothing. I'm like, it's true, dude.
Yeah.
That song is so accurate, dude.
Which one?
Teenagers scared the living shit out of me.
Yeah, that's right.
My Chemical Romance.
That's hilarious. I want to go back to the mice thing. They're saying that it's happening everywhere.
Yeah. So what calmed me down, because I got really upset and got the exterminator, because we've been communicating back and forth with the exterminator, and this has been a problem we've been battling all summer. And I went there on I think Thursday or whatever. I think that was the day I got up there. And it was only 2 days prior to that the exterminator was there to basically handle the last complaint and problem that we had. And within 2 days time, our house was like tore up and just destroyed from mice. And so, I mean, what are we paying for? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I mean, it literally felt like they didn't do it. They set a couple traps up, then what? Like, and they've been saying that this is this year's problem. And what he made me aware of, he's like, every year there's something. He goes, 2 years ago we had the woodpeckers, and the woodpeckers were attacking everybody's houses and pecking holes in their houses, and so that was all we were focused on. Other times it's been squirrels, and and this time it's mice. He goes, and so he's like, that's just part of the game, is that there's always a pest or a rodent that they are trying, and everybody's dealing with that. Then I felt confirmation when I heard from our cleaners, because we were apologizing to them that, it's like, hey, we cleaned it up as best we could before you guys got there, which was like less than 24 hours they were there, so we don't know. And they're like, no, we understand we don't have a house that we service up here right now that isn't got the problem. So it's like everybody. That's how I know. That's what Justin and I were trying to figure out. It's like there wasn't a fire, because normally you would think like a fire, some sort of a flood would drive them up or something like that. But it's just like, why?
Maybe the mice were eating.
Must be the predators. Like there's not as pervasive.
Well, first time I seen a snake at her house. I've never seen a snake at her house before. I saw a snake, and it's
owls,
like they know they're there.
Oh, dude, we need all of them.
Right? Maybe the mice were eating the Organifi Horny stack. Just mating like crazy.
Mating like crazy? Oh, that's a great commercial.
Isn't that a great commercial right there? Hey, dude, the Horny stack, bro. That's the one. People are writing in now. People are trying the Horny stack. That it's the Happy Drops and the Shilajit. Combine them. And you get,
the combo.
It's a good time.
Probably tastes better to do it separately, but do it back to back.
But I've comboed.
It's a good time. They both boost libido.
It's not bad.
They both take them both together. They work differently. And you get that synergistic.
Oh, that's great.
I know.
I'd like to hear it. Have you already heard people that, since you've talked about it?
Yeah. I don't know how happy Organifi is that I'm calling it the Horny stack, but that's what it is.
It's a desired effect. So what are you going to do?
It's like the old Christmas blend that we started to do to talk about this back in the days of the green and the red. Right?
I saw Justin eating both earlier this morning. So
I did too.
You did too.
Yeah,
oh, great.
But I mean, my intention is not to be horny right now, but I like the feel of the Happy Drops and the Shilajit. So
I didn't see you all weekend, bro.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Did you guys see? I briefly brought it up. I thought this was a really interesting stat. How much podcasting is shifting right now?
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
So obviously, when we first started this, very few people even knew what it was, and the main, not the only, but one of the main, probably I think 80% of all probably podcast streams came from Apple.
Yeah,
Apple was really what made
iTunes.
But yeah, iTunes. That market share, they are down to 8%.
Crazy.
Isn't that wild?
They lost that.
Oh,
that was theirs to lose. And
they put like little to no effort at all. That always like baffled me. It's like, what? Like there's so much potential. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they saw the growth, especially during COVID.
I wish I could be a fly on those meetings and on the wall and hear the thought process. Now I know originally it was not profitable for them.
Yeah.
Because it just, there was no money in it for them back then. I can't imagine, but personally, I think that was just a lack of creativity on their part to see the potential that could have been there, and to lose, that much market share in that short of a period of time. Like, talk about a major.
So who took it? Spotify on YouTube.
Spotify,
right?
Yeah. So Spotify is now at 32%. Wow. I think Spotify's, and YouTube is 35%.
Wow.
So the fact that, which YouTube kind of came out of nowhere with that, because, and I remember when we first started putting it on YouTube, and it's still, for us personally, it represents the smallest percentage of our audience listens on YouTube. But supposedly that's the number one place now people are going, which I would have never thought that, but it does make sense because you can still listen to it. So it's like, I have the option that
you don't have to keep the screen on.
You can have it on and just listen.
Right. And that makes sense. It's like, it's just a luxury of, if I do want to look at it, I can look at it. So even I've caught myself when I was driving over here, speaking of that, I'll drop the podcast. Such a great, maybe one of the best for me, I guess. So maybe this might not be for everybody's cup of tea. The best podcast interview I have ever heard. It was so cool. It was Diary of a CEO, and he had Hormozy, Cody, and then I forget what's the British guy's name, Daniel something, I believe. He's like the British version of like Hormozy, like business wise as far as his content. The three of them all at a table, just talking about building, and they had all kinds of fun exercises. Like he did this thing with 3 briefcases and said one briefcase had $1,000, one had $10,000, and one had $100,000. And then he gave the briefcases to them, and then they had to open it and say like, how would you have 0 to start with? All you have is the money that is in the briefcase. What do you want to do with it? How would you start it? What I thought was so interesting about that single, they had a bunch of other exercises and fun things they did in this interview. It was incredible watch. But this one, what was the most unique thing? Any guesses on the differences between how they would all start with those? Wow. There was none.
Okay. None, huh?
The money was irrelevant, which I thought was such a cool thing to watch
them build relationships first.
Yeah, like it was all either building relationships or partnerships or going and creating some sort of a service for them, and needing the money didn't matter. Did not matter.
That makes sense.
What it made me think about, in fact, the guy, the British guy got the I think he's British, right, Doug?
Priestley is his last name.
So he got the biggest amount, and so I was so curious, like, oh, maybe when you get to 100,000, he's going to have a different strategy because he actually had a little bit of money to work with. And he actually said, this briefcase is the most dangerous briefcase to have out of the 3. He goes, because you think.
False confidence?
Yes, you have a false confidence. And it reminded me, remember the conversations we used to have when we started the podcast? And I was like, I would not, if someone came and said, back when we had no money and just starting, and someone said, here's $10 million to go build your mind pump empire you want.
Yeah, we screwed it up.
I would have screwed it up, and I would have been scared to death to have that because I wouldn't know. But yet you'd have all this money to put in all your ideas or things. And so you have this, and so he's like, the $100,000 is actually more of a disadvantage. I thought that was what a crazy spin.
Yeah.
Because most people are like, oh, I don't have the money or I can't go do this thing. And he's like, no, because then you have this false confidence that, oh, I've got a decent chunk. I can go hire this person and I could buy this app and I could do this thing. And it's like, then before you know it,
gives you a little bit of lazy tendencies in there as well.
Totally. Yeah. I thought that was really cool. But what a great conversation. I think, Doug, you listened to it, yeah?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
What'd you
think about it?
I thought it was great. There's a lot of ideas that I got from that.
Yeah.
As far as our business is concerned.
Yeah, there's very few podcasts that I would say I will listen to more than once. I'll go back and listen to that again.
I'll go check it out then.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch and just really interesting to see. I mean, one of the biggest takeaways for the audience, not to bore the people that don't care for too long, but and Kyle and I had this in our podcast. We ended up talking about this similar point, is that when you are first starting and you have nothing, the beginning phases is so much about education and learning that it doesn't matter what dollar amount you make. Now, granted, I understand that people are like, well, I have to survive. I've got to eat. I got to do this. Like, yeah, I would at night hustle DoorDash or Instacart or anything to pay for my necessities, to get the top ramen and to pay for the rent. Or even I would sleep on a couch or live at a family member's house till I figure this out. But in the first couple of years, insert whatever business that you want to be a part of, whether it be real estate, finance, fitness, and go find the most talented person in proximity to you that you can, and go work for free. Go do whatever you can to be that close to somebody who is already having tremendous success in the field that you want to. And it doesn't matter how much they're going to pay you, because the education that you're going to get from them outweighs. It's priceless. Yeah. If anyone offered you a free Harvard degree and you didn't have to pay for anything, almost everybody would take that with no brainer. And you want to know what's better than a Harvard degree is actually having a degree in the exact specific thing that you want to go do by somebody who's already done it really well.
Totally.
It's so invaluable to do that. And I just don't think a lot of people think that way. They're measuring their time and how much money they're going to make. And again, I know the base argument should be, well, that's, I got to have rent. And I go, okay, so then hustle DoorDash or be a phlebotomist.
The hourly you're going to get there.
Yeah,
the education.
Exactly. Yeah. So but must watch. If you guys haven't seen that, Diary of the CEO was the interview. He's done a couple of these now where he's now bringing these like kind of roundtable versions. I don't know if you saw the feminism one. Yeah, the feminism was really good. Yeah. And now this one, I thought
he did a great job. Yeah,
really good.
He's very entertaining.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that.
I know you've heard you are what you eat, but actually to be more accurate, it's you are what you digest, and what helps you digest and break down proteins, fats, and carbohydrates for your muscles, your bodies, and your health are digestive enzymes. Look, if you have a high protein diet, digestive enzymes can help with digestion. They can help with bloat, constipation, and they can help get the nutrients to the places they need to go. The best company for this is Masszymes. Go check them out. Go to masszymes.com. That's MASSZYMES.com/MindPump. Use the code MindPump10. Get 10% off. Back to the show. This segment of the podcast is brought to you by MindPump Fitness Coaching. This is the #1 course that teaches trainers and coaches how to build sustainable 6-figure plus businesses and careers in fitness. Look, it's roundtable based, so you can hear Adam, Justin, and myself teaching you how to build a better business, get more leads, close more deals, close bigger deals, and be more effective trainers. By the way, our course is nationally recognized. In fact, it gives you 1.9 CEUs with or for your NASM certification. Find out more at mindpumpfitnesscoaching.com.
Our first caller is Kristen from Texas.
Hi, Kristen.
How you doing, Kristen?
Hi, guys.
How you
This
doing?
I told Doug, I was like, this is outer body experience right now. I'm like in awe. This is so incredible. I'm so appreciative to you guys. So here's my question for you. It's been 30 years since I tore my ACL, I blew it out. It was replaced with my patella. As you guys know, rehab 30 years ago was definitely subpar. It was lay in your bed for 2 weeks and come back and see us. I had to have my quad shocked to get the stimulation back, and it was not a fun process. For years, I favored my knee, and I'm mad at myself for not strength training sooner to develop my knee and supporting muscles. Knowing what I know now, I'm really enjoying heavy lifting. I have gotten comfortable with progressively loading my barbell back and front squats. While I here's my question. Will I ever be able to get my strength back, or have I missed my opportunity since I've favored it for so long? I would really love to visually gain some muscle in my quad, strength obviously being important. But I'm focusing my reps on hypertrophy, which I have some more thoughts on, and listening to you guys have some additional thoughts. Per my last DEXA scan, my right leg is about 1 pound less, and not flexed. It's about 1.25 inches smaller.
Okay, good question.
So what do we do?
Have you ran symmetry yet?
Yeah.
So I knew you guys were going to say that. I haven't. I've paused on it because of my current training. I'm doing Monday push, Tuesday and Friday lower, with Wednesday pull.
Okay.
So the symmetry puts it all together, and that's been my hesitation.
Yeah, I feel you. If you, because this is a for lack of a better term, an imbalance that you've had for 30 years, without your body has gotten really good at compensating. You move really naturally compensating. Probably don't even notice if it wasn't for the DEXA scans, and maybe because
It's very subtle.
very subtle. The only way you're going to balance that out is with probably a year of more of dedicated unilateral training.
Yep.
Which means you're going to have to sacrifice your bilateral. You're going to have to sacrifice
your
your
split's
attachment.
gonna have to look different.
You're going to have to sacrifice the attachment you have to certain workouts and exercises. Otherwise, you're okay. I'll be straight with you. You'll be fine if you never balance it out. I'm sure you're fine now. It doesn't really bother you. But if you want to bring it back, it's going to take a decent amount of time of focused unilateral training, because your compensations are so baked in at this point that trying to do it with bilateral training, it's like good luck. It's not going to happen.
But you absolutely can, though. Just so you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had many clients with very, very similar stories like this, and then I got a hold of them, and it was just like, all we're doing is unilateral until this balances out, and we balance them out. And I think a year is a good goal, because I think that's about what it takes when you have. It's not like you have a massive discrepancy, but it just needs that type of dedication where I don't know if you've ever given yourself even 6 months of just unilateral work, and if you haven't, you do this, it'll pay off. It'll definitely pay off.
Now, just to give you a little bit more encouragement, when you do balance this out, it's going to not just affect your leg. When you have an imbalance or a compensation, it works its way up the kinetic chain. So it's also affecting your hips. It's affecting your back. It might even be affecting your shoulders, especially when you're standing and doing overhead exercises. So on the other end of this are like new gains across the board, but it will take a dedicated long chunk of time of some isometric training, unilateral training, starting with the weaker leg, allowing the weaker leg to dictate what the stronger leg will do, not pushing as hard with the stronger side, and doing that for a little while. So following MAP symmetry probably 2 or 3 times in a row, I think would take care of this. And then you'll see in the DEXA scan, by the way, gaining a pound of muscle, how long have you been working out consistently for?
Oh, my whole life. But I have to say in the past 2 years has been a really big focus in hypertrophy. And, and yes, I always start with the right leg. I'll do an extra set on just the right leg. Can I share a little bit with you about what I'm doing on my Tuesday, Friday lower?
Sure.
So I wrote it down just to make sure. So I just changed up my routine. I was doing front squats, but we've subbed for deadlifts. So I have a trainer that I work with. I do hip thrust, Bulgarians, and then leg extensions. Again, starting on the right leg and doing an extra set on just the right leg. And then Fridays, I'm doing back squats, barbell, reverse lunges, Bulgarians, leg extensions, and RDL.
Yeah, that's a good general workout.
Yeah,
it's but I don't think it's gonna fix the
and you have to let go. You have to let go of the bilateral stuff completely.
That's it.
Because especially when you're talking about bilateral, these compound lifts that are. I mean, because when you go and do that, to the guy's point, that it's so subtle you don't even know it, but you're compensating and you're getting strong in that compensation, and so you have to just let that go.
It's your default pattern.
Yeah, you have to. It has to be
reinforcing
all unilateral for at least 6 months to a year. What will be encouraging, because you did a DEXA, which is great. I think if you go back and you look at that DEXA within a few months, you'll already see the positive change, which hopefully that will be encouraging. Hell yeah,
I would avoid the last phase of MAP symmetry. Maybe run it twice, and then the third time I would probably check it.
Good point.
Yeah, because then you can actually look and see the difference that you're making while just sticking with unilateral, and then how that translates. It'll be great.
And again, just to encourage you, you're going to make more overall gains doing this.
I knew you were going to say that.
We have people send in. We'll have people send in DEXA before and after with symmetry, and they'll gain more total muscle because of the unilateral training. Overall, you're going to make
blew us away. It was crazy.
Yeah, you're going to make better gains. Is what's going to happen. Better aesthetics, like across the board.
Yeah.
But the attachment to some of those exercises, that's the tough part. I get that. Yeah. But you'll get better at them.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit more of a couple years ago, I just got really comfortable into squatting and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
And I've seen, in the last 14 months, I've dropped 10 pounds and 6% body fat. So I've seen I'm in that Goldilocks phase, as you guys say, which I'm like, when's I going to run out? What am I going to do? Okay. I'll keep listening to them. I'll get their advice. But I figured you guys would say that, and I appreciate the rough timeline of give it a year, give it some time, because that's what I was most curious about, and I get antsy and start shifting things, and I don't know if it's working or not.
Well, here's what won't happen. You're not going to gain body fat and go backwards. You're going to actually progress faster.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, there's nothing to worry about here in that sense. There's nothing to fear.
Yeah.
Just be patient, give it some time, and all unilateral.
Yeah.
The hardest part, the hardest part is letting go of all the bilateral stuff. It just needs.
But it's temporary.
Yeah. Exactly.
You'll get back at them. You'll get stronger.
And I really think I love that you already did the DEXA, because I think that this will work in your favor when you do a checkup on it, say 60 days later with that, and you get to see that you're already making progress.
Super tangible.
That will make it more motivating. We're moving in the right direction. I can see that, and we're saying give it a year, but it could be faster. It really. I mean, if your diet's on point,
dialed in right now.
Yeah, and you're dialed, it could absolutely happen.
My protein's dialed in.
Yes. If you're dialed,
all the things that
if you're dialed, it could happen faster.
Actually, one other thing, you might want to be in a surplus if you want to make this happen faster.
Yeah.
If you want to gain, if you want them to balance out faster, go into surplus. It'll accelerate the process. Otherwise, it'll take a little longer.
Okay. I thought about that too. So I'm sitting at 2,400 calories a day, and I have been since I'd shared with you my journey of the DEXA scans in the last 14 months. Bump it up more.
Yeah. You look lean too. What's your body fat at?
25%.
Yeah, no, I would go up
I
another.
want to get to the 22, 23 you guys talk about.
I'd go up a couple hundred calories.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can cycle it too, where you give yourself so you're in a bulk for say 2 or 3 weeks at a time, then you have 1 week cut, then you do a 2 or 3 week bulk. So just over the course of the next 6 months or whatever we're talking about right now, spend most of it in a bulk. So if you do that, and if you're trying to mitigate any body fat gain, but you want to get the benefits, but just have little interruptions of a mini cut right in between like those. So just run the bulk for 2 or 3 weeks, have a short, week where you go maintenance or a little lower and then go right back to it again and keep doing that. Okay. That'll help keep you from putting on any body fat, but also most of the time you're in the surplus. So most of the time you'll be in the benefits of building the muscle.
We're going to send you Symmetry. So follow it back to back without doing the final phase.
Okay.
And then by the third time, go ahead and go through
What do I do with my trainers now? I like my trainers.
Show them the program. Yeah, here's the deal.
Do they listen to MINDPUMP?
They can run you through it.
I'm trying to get them on board.
Okay. No. Here's the deal. A good trainer will look at the programming because if I were training you, undoubtedly I'm going to have to coach you through it. Mm-hmm. There's going to be technique that I'm going to look at, and I might have to make some changes. Okay. So bring them the program. Say I want to focus on unilateral training. The goal is to create balance between my right and left leg in particular. And for the next at least 6 months, it's going to be mostly unilateral training. Here's the programming. I'd love some coaching through this. And if you see anything that needs to change while I'm going through, obviously they're your trainers. They know you. They're going to do a better job.
They can modify things for
That's right.
The only thing that would concern me, because trainers have egos, is that if that bothers them, if that's a problem, then that's a problem. Then that's where you go, well, then I'm going to go do this on my own. But a smart trainer that needs business is probably going to adapt and go like, okay, I get it. And then if they're good, they should be able to look at the programming and say, oh, this is good.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense. If you're saying my goal is to balance these two sides out, I mean, that's the go-to is unilateral training.
Yeah. And
then sure. I appreciate. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say if they argue with that, then they're not that good at trainers.
100%. So I agree.
Yeah.
I appreciate your additional comments about cutting and bulking, and I haven't officially ever done that, and I mill it around in my head. And a couple times a year, I go back and I track and see kind of where I'm at, but because of past history, I don't track a lot. So I appreciate that. I mean, you can't build muscle unless you're nourishing your body.
That's right.
So.
Yep. That's right.
100%.
Okay. I thought I had another question in there about what you said about the trainer stuff. Symmetry is 3 days, right?
Oh, is it a 3-day-a-week program? I believe so.
I believe so.
I believe so.
I have to look up the
foundational workouts.
Yeah, I believe it is.
Okay. So I think I know what you're saying. If I wanted to add in like a 4th day and do like hip
mobility.
thrust.
Yeah.
Mobility.
Well, there's options for that in the program.
Be careful with the bilateral stuff for now. You're so good at compensating that that the bilateral stuff, just at least for the first few months, just don't do it at least for the first few months.
All right.
Because we're not just training the muscles. The confusion, I think a lot of people think, it's the muscles that we're training. No, your muscles are working when you're training bilateral. A lot of this is your central nervous system changing its patterns. And if we continue to reinforce an old pattern that is so solid,
you're undoing
it's going to outcompete. It's always going to outcompete the new signal that we're trying to send.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you just got to get away from it for a while.
And that's what's happening right now, because you're doing some unilateral work, but you're still going back to the bilateral. And so you're kind of undoing the good work you're doing in the unilateral. So that's, once you give that up, then we're going to see the progress.
That's right.
Yeah, just so you know, it's 3 times a week, and mobility trigger sessions and focus sessions are twice a week.
There you go. Yeah. So you got extra time there.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that'll keep me appeased with the extra.
Yes, there we go.
And not doing too much.
Keep us posted. I would love to hear, since you did a DEXA, I'd love to hear the DEXA update. So keep us posted.
Great.
Yeah, we, my husband and I do it together. We started a while ago. And so our next one due up, I try not to do it too much and do like every about 6 months. So we're due in November. So this will
be perfect. That'll be perfect.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah. Let us know.
Okay, I'm committed. I'll fully, I have Symmetry. I like to do the bilateral upper body. So
I get it.
I'm like, you just unilateral lower and upper.
You'll learn to love it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I have faith.
You got it.
Yeah. Listen to us. Thanks, Kristen. Yeah. I said, listen to us.
Yeah.
I know. That's what you tell everybody. So I'm like, okay, I'm on here now. I have to actually do it.
Thank you. Thanks, Kristen.
All right, Kristen.
We'll follow up with you.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Thanks for everything you do.
You got it.
Have a good one.
Unilateral training's got people need to realize, especially for athletic training later. You get a kid or whatever. You want to get them strong, right? Foundationally, but later on, unilateral training is actually more valuable.
Yes.
For athletic performance and for function.
Yeah.
And if
Safety.
If you only do, here's the
So
thing.
great for feedback.
And here's the thing: a lot of people need to realize, without an injury, you never get injured. Everything seems the same. You're fine. And you only ever do bilateral training, you over time will create compensations, just the way it is.
Yeah.
The longer you only do bilateral training, the longer and the more
That's
often.
the body just doing what it's supposed to do.
That's it.
I'm glad we got this question because I don't know if I've ever talked about it or admitted it myself personally, but this was a mistake I made as a trainer early on. I understood unilateral and the benefits of it, especially when trying to catch me up, but I still would continue to do also bilateral work.
Right.
It wasn't until much later in my career did I realize
You were just throwing a little unilateral stuff.
Yeah,
That's
and
same
you did it perfect because by breaking down that it's not the muscles that we're thinking about right now, it's the central nervous system. And I just thought, if I'm doing more unilateral stuff, it'll make
more
up for
volume for this muscle.
Yeah, but it's like, no, I'm retraining that same bad pattern every time I go back to the bilateral. So this great work that I'm doing in unilateral, I'm basically undoing every time I do bilateral. And so, yeah, that's why I wasn't going to catch it up. And so I bet a lot of people hear us talk about the benefits of unilateral work. They know they have they're compensating. And so they think just by adding some unilateral work into their bilateral work is going to help do that. But the reality is you're undoing that work every time you do it.
Look, it's like learning it's like you've been golfing and you have a terrible golf swing and you hire a golf coach and he's teaching you how to swing properly. And then on the off days, you go back to your old way of practice. He's going to say, stop swinging the wrong way.
It's such
100%.
a stronger signal
That's
that
it.
you're competing with, and you're going to get out-competed.
Our next caller is Morgan from California.
Hi, Morgan.
How you doing, Morgan?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good. We're doing good. How can we help you?
Okay, so I'll read my email. There's been an update. So my name is Morgan. I'm a 35-year-old single mom who is interested in building a career as an online fitness coach. I have a master's degree in psychology and have worked as a therapist for the last 13 years. Prior to working as a therapist, I was a personal trainer and worked at a commercial gym. I've always had a passion for nutrition and working out. I'm scared to make the leap because of financial constraints, but realize this fear will continue to hold me back. Your podcast has been instrumental in helping me realize my dream career is possible. I was wondering what advice you would have for me in starting this venture. In the email I put, I was looking into NASM or ISSA. So I went with NASM and I'm halfway through the CPT and I did the nutrition coaching as well. So I'm wondering what first steps, what's your advice on how to do this?
Our trainer course with that. I think that almost every trainer that asks a question like this, I say NASM and our trainer course. And the reason why is I think, and especially you did the nutrition, which is great. So you have such a great base with NASM as far as, overall training clients and nutrition. Now you have a great handle on that. Ours is heavily focused on the business aspect. So ours is about making money, scaling your business, client retention. So the combination of those, I think, are like the ultimate pair to start a trainer off like that. Not to say there's lots of other great things out there, but if we're like, what's the absolute best things I can do right now, education wise, to help me build my business and be successful, I would plug our course with NASM. I think that's one of the best places. Yeah. Not to mention that within our course, you come into our trainer community where we're mentoring you consistently. So it's not just like you buy the course and then good luck. You're in a community with other like-minded trainers that are scaling their business, that listen to the show, and that are getting help and mentorship from us. So it's this ongoing help that you have a resource of as you go through challenges. Trainers are always sharing ideas, how they're getting new clients, what's working, what's not working, all the things. So that would be and let me tell you, I loved getting a hold of a trainer like you. Having somebody with a, psychology background is such a great asset those make some of the best trainers because if you already probably know this, so much of personal training is, behavioral psychology. It's literally what you're doing. And so you have a very good grasp of that. It's going to make you an incredible trainer. So I'm super excited to see you make the leap and do this.
Along those lines, Morgan.
Thank you.
So this is a kind of a unique situation where usually if someone's doing one thing and then they want to become a trainer, they have to leave what they're doing to become a trainer. However, you're currently a therapist, right?
Yes.
Okay. this is one of those unique situations where I think you could do both.
I know.
Because, so I'm sure you're familiar
great
more.
combo there
I'm just going to cite some data for people listening because I'm sure you're familiar with this, but the effects of exercise and diet, and exercise in particular on the kind of low to general depression, anxiety, a lot of people will suffer from. Exercise, they just showed is actually more effective in one huge study than talk therapy and medication. And now that, of course, what that study doesn't say is there's oftentimes, and I'm sure you work with people like this, getting people to exercise, good luck. They just can't even get off the couch, which is, it's like getting them to move is the hard part. But anyway, where I'm going with that is, are there any HIPAA violations for someone like you who's already a therapist to also offer your patients personal training? So in other words, they work with you as a therapist. I don't know how that works with your field. Are you also able to offer additional service with them, except now we're going to do a session where I'm going to train you and we're going to do some exercises. Can you do that?
It would fall under different scope of practice, but as long as I have my NASM, the CPT, then I don't see
you don't need to
why
stop.
it wouldn't.
You don't need to stop what you're doing.
Yeah, just make the transition.
You don't need to stop what you're doing. So this is what it would look like. In fact, I have a friend of mine who does, I've talked to her about this. You have your office. You don't need a gym. You don't need lots of equipment. You could do you could have a suspension trainer in your office. You could have a pair of dumbbells, a physio ball, and your session, which let's say normally is 50 minutes, you could say, we can add an additional whatever, 30 minutes, an additional 50 minutes. And what we're going to start with is exercise. And I think exercise is a great way to start because it gets people moving and talking anyway. And then at the end of this, we're going to sit down, take a protein shake, do whatever, and then we're going to do the rest of the session like we normally would. You don't need to leave what you're currently doing. I think if you added to what you were doing, you would be so effective.
Yeah. She's also got a background already in personal training, so you could also just go right into virtual coach. We typically tell people,
that's right,
train people in person first so you get that practice, but you've had that already, so you have an understanding of exercise mechanics and the challenges that people have with exercise. So you can even offer a virtual service. So it's like there's what Sal's saying, the opportunity for you to also train that client in person. But maybe it's that's an expense they can't do. And so maybe they can afford just more of an online coach where you're just kind of supporting them. And then you use like our programs. Utilize the resources that you have through us, and you can deliver that type of workouts for them. And you're just kind of overseeing the program and helping them where they need help, either nutrition wise or coaching them through the program. And so you have an opportunity with what you're already doing to just kind of start to dabble in this. And then the goal would be, can I get to a point where I'm servicing enough people that the leap isn't so scary? Because I can only imagine what that feels like where you're raising a kid and you're doing this on your own. And it's like, oh, and now I want to make a career change. I don't
necessarily think you need to make a change. I think this is something you can add to what you're currently doing as an extra service. And I wouldn't be surprised if a significant number of your patients would be like, oh my God, I would love it if I don't know if this falls under the scope of therapy, but I know there's like somatic release. I know people have done like psoas release, this under the scope of therapy as well. So it could literally be, we're going to do some movement. It's going to look like exercise. It's an additional whatever for extra time. So instead of seeing me for an hour, it's 2 hours. And now you're using your fitness knowledge in combination with your therapy background. I would love to get if I had a studio today, you're the person I would want in my studio. I'd say, no, I want you to continue doing therapy, and I want you training the same people in our studio because it's such a powerful synergistic combination.
Yeah, just working out and eating right, it does make all the difference with mental health. And I work in substance abuse. That's the population I work with, and treatment. But definitely, I know we'll take them on walks just to get out and get some steps in, and it does help their mental health a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think they're synergistic as heck. So look into that as well.
A lot of this stuff too. That if you end up getting in our course and getting in our mentorship program, this is stuff that we'll talk through with you as you go through this process, and as you're trying to figure things out and having challenges or questions. That's what we'll be there for. Yeah.
Okay. Where do I get that course?
I'll have Doug send you the link.
Okay.
As soon as we hang up.
Maybe we could have someone call her if she has more questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll have Ann reach out to you.
There you go. We'll have someone reach out to you so you can ask more detailed questions and she'll go through it with you.
Okay, great. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much, Morgan.
All right, Morgan. Look forward to seeing you.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
You too. Have a great day.
It's the one I've said that we've said this on the show before. Somebody with a background in psychology who also does personal training.
Make great trainers. Make great
the
trainers.
best.
Yeah, great trainers.
And imagine somebody going there for substance abuse and they get that, they're getting the talk therapy, and then the same therapist is like, let's go do the workout. I'm going to take you through. And the workout's going to be very tailored to the individual because some people are going to do very little, some a lot. The power of that is just incredible.
Yeah, if you can combine the two without being, a problem, like you said, with HIPAA or anything, like that's such a powerful combo.
I don't see how it would be a problem.
No, it wouldn't be. You just separate them. They wouldn't be under the same umbrella.
Yeah, you would do the next half. Would be this
so it wouldn't
session.
be like, it wouldn't be like a 2-hour session with me. It's a 1-hour session and then another 1-hour session with my other business.
Well, I do know that some therapists use things like somatic release where they're working on your body and they're getting you to do movements and it's under the umbrella of therapy. So I don't know how that would work.
Think about how much more open and vulnerable people are though too, and you get them moving.
That's why I said do that first.
Talk a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
I know. It's amazing.
Yeah, come in. We're going to work out for 30 minutes and then we'll get talking.
Yeah. Great opportunity here, Phil.
Our next caller is Shauna from California.
Hi, Shauna.
How you doing,
What's
Shauna?
happening?
Hi, guys. This is very exciting.
How can we help you?
So, for the sake of time, I'm a 40-year-old female who is 5'3" and 135-ish pounds with 22% body fat. I lift weight 4 times a week and usually throw in a day or two of easy cardio. Additionally, I'm active throughout the day. Most days I ride my bike to work. My job is active. I'm a peds oncology nurse. I walk on my lunch breaks. I also walk my dogs 1 to 2 times a day. Hitting over 10,000 steps a day is easy. My question is about calories. I've done a resting metabolic test, so I have data to work with. My question is, what should my caloric intake be for increasing muscle mass while trying to decrease body fat percentage? I want to drop about 5% body fat, but I don't want to compromise muscle growth. I don't care what the scale says. Any suggestions would be greatly appreciated.
You got it. So first off, God bless you for the work that you do. That is incredible. It takes a special human being to do that kind of work. All right. So
thank you.
Thank you. All right. So you want to get leaner and build some muscle. You're already pretty lean. So to go from 22 down to 17, we're going to start to dip into the kind of unhealthy, quote unquote, body fat percentage range. And we may see hormone changes as a result. So I just wanted you to keep in mind when a woman goes below 19, 18%, now you're starting to play with, I'm trading health, trading hormone health for a particular look. Okay.
Okay, fair. Let's say 18%. Let's keep it on the lean side.
Right on the line. Yeah.
Here's where I would start. Okay. Because you're already doing well. You're already doing pretty well. I like your routine. It sounds like you're doing good strength training.
I want to know where we're at calorie wise.
Yeah.
Right now.
Do you know how many calories you're averaging a day?
Yes. So I've done a resting metabolic, and it says, so I struggle with knowing whether I should classify myself as moderately active or vigorously active. And that would be my maintenance. But what I'm actually consuming on most days is between like 17 and 1,800 calories.
That's what's most important right there.
Yeah.
I'm not even worried about the test.
consuming,
I care more about what you've been doing consistently and if that's what maintains where you're currently at right now. And if you're around there and you're already as low back, you're a reverse diet place.
Yeah.
We want to add calories and build muscle and just do it slowly. And that's going to lean you out too.
So here's what it's going to look like, Shauna. Start tracking your proteins, fats, and carbs consistently.
I do.
Okay, good.
I do.
Good. So you have your average. What I want you to do is slowly increase that and focus on getting stronger. And that's actually what's going to help you get leaner at this point.
Yep.
Okay. So am I talking 100 calories a week? And what does that look like?
Yeah, bump it about 100 to 150. Stay there for 2 or 3 weeks and then do it again. And pay attention to strength in the gym. Okay. And what'll happen is you'll build a little bit of muscle, which will cause the body fat percentage to start to drop because of where you're at.
This is the path we have to go. And I'll tell you how I know that with you is that you're already pretty lean and have good muscle on your body. I can see it, your percentages, your numbers, like you're already, and you move a lot and you're only eating 1,700 calories. There's nowhere lower to go. for you to get this result you want, we have to reverse diet up. In fact, the ultimate goal from your activity level and your already strength that you muscle you already have, I want you to get up to a place of 2,700 calories before I bring you back down.
Yeah, so you're too low to cut, in other words. If we start you in a cut at your current calories, you'll end up around 1,200 calories and you'll lose muscle.
Yep.
And not to mention the job that you do requires a lot of emotional strength. That stress on the body on top of the low calories is a recipe for hormone disaster, which will cause muscle loss. So a nice, slow reverse diet, just because that's going to keep you comfortable, because we could reverse diet a little faster, but that might make you feel like, I'm going too fast.
Yeah, that's
focusing on getting stronger in the gym. That's the thing you pay attention to.
A good strategy for us to help this would be to really change up the way you train right now. So what's your kind of typical training block? Like, what are you doing? Are you following any of our programs? Do you write your own? What are you doing right now?
I've definitely followed your programs in the past. Right now, I'm following my own program. So right now, I'm working actually 6 days a week. I occasionally also teach. And when I do, that means I'm working 6 days a week for about 5 weeks. So what I've been doing during this 5-week period is in the gym, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I generally do full body, a lot of compound movements. And then Tuesday and Thursday are my cardio day, nothing too vigorous. And then Saturday and Sunday have been kind of rest as far as a restful day goes for me.
That's good. And how many exercises total are you doing on your full body workout days?
I'm doing about usually about 6.
Okay. You could bring that down to about 4 to 5 if you wanted to be a little bit more appropriate. But your calories definitely need to go up. With that much activity, with the work 100%. That you do, you're actually, there's muscle that wants to be built right now that just can't because your calories aren't high enough.
Yep.
Extend your rest periods too between sets.
That's it.
Yeah, that's always a challenge. But yes, I hear you. I got it. Okay, fantastic. This is really helpful. Thank you.
If that's true, that's a huge opportunity right there. Reducing the volume, giving yourself rest, giving yourself more calories is the answer.
You're going to build some muscle.
This is the answer to this equation, and it will happen.
You got it.
If you do it right, we will. We'll get leaner as we build muscle if we do this right.
That's right. It wouldn't be out of the question for you to drop 2 or 3% body fat because you gained 5 pounds of muscle.
That's right.
I like it. I don't care what the scale says. I'm going for, increased muscle mass.
Good. Yeah. Love it. All right. You're going to like this then.
Sean, I'm going to have Doug put you in our private forum so we can just keep an eye on you. So as you go through the process, you can hit us up and ask us any questions along the way.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
You got it.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, dude. That's easy fix.
Yes.
Super easy fix.
Just way too low calories.
Yeah, and 6 exercises in a full body workout's not bad. Yeah. But with her low calories, with the amount of activity she's doing,
much already.
And her work, you guys, I mean, people understand she's
emotionally draining.
She's a nurse for children with cancer. So the stress that places on the body that can't be understated.
It's not helping her. Let's put it that way.
No.
Yeah, it's not helping the cause.
No, so just increasing her calories, drop a little volume, boom, she's going to build muscle.
Yeah, you gave her a very conservative number. She could easily bump 200 to 300.
This is for her to be comfortable.
Right. But she could easily bump 200-300 and head. That's why I wanted to tell her a goal target is like, we need to get up to like 2,700 calories. Yeah. She's at 2,700. Then I'd let her come back down to like 22,400 and she would just watch herself lean out.
Our next caller is Paul from England.
Paul, I remember you. How you doing, man?
What's up, Paul? How you doing, man?
I'm good, thank you. How are you guys?
Good.
Give us an update.
Oh, okay. So I kind of have a confession to make. So I tried the plan. You guys gave me all-time strength, and I gave it a good couple of weeks, and it just kind of wasn't for me. I gotta be honest. Like, I enjoyed it. It was different. It was like challenging, but like challenging in the way of like learning a new skill.
Yep.
Of course.
Yep.
Which is kind of to be expected, I guess, right? But it kind of wasn't ticking the challenging me physically box, if you know what I mean. Or maybe I should have been a bit more patient with it, I don't know. But what it did do is it kind of opened my eyes to like, okay, what I think I'm missing is kind of having fun in the gym again. And just doing, not necessarily what you want, but doing things that you enjoy and kind of taking the emphasis off of, being lean and being as lean as you can and blah, blah, blah. And just focused on have some fun in the gym again, which led me down the path to actually thinking about putting on a bit of size and then changing my diet up a little bit and just taking a much more kind of still structured and focused, but like less pressurized approach, if you like, to the gym, which I've been doing for like the last 3 months, and it's been really cool.
Yeah, you didn't change anything, Paul.
You just convinced yourself to do the same thing.
Stop lying. You sound like me.
Yeah,
That's why I know. That's why I know you're lying. That's how I sound.
I mean, hey,
Why does it feel different then?
hey, you look great though.
Hey, this is what you said. This is what you said.
You look badass though.
Hey, hold on. This is Paul right here. Hey, I just changed things up. I'm doing what I enjoy, not necessarily what I like. Huh? That's the same thing. What are you talking about?
No, that's a British English thing. Like, I'm not just doing any old shit. I'm doing things that I enjoy, not just any kind of like.
What did you change specifically about your routine?
So I was a bit less regimented with it, in terms of like, this day will be shoulders, this day will be back, this day will be whatever, chest. And then if you don't do that, then you kind of feel like you've missed out. If I got up in the morning and I don't know, my back felt toasted or whatever, and I just didn't fancy that, and I wanted to do some shoulders or I wanted to do some arms, then I'm cool with doing that, and I'll do it, and I'll get a good workout in, and I'll like not put it in the bag and forget about it. Move on. I'll do back another day. That kind of thing.
So do you remember the original call? I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember what we were working on.
Yeah, hyper focused on aesthetics, and we tried to move him out of that. That's why we sent him whole time. Too big of a jump. That's our bad, Paul.
Yeah, it was
too big of a jump.
We jumped the shark.
Yeah,
did you do that?
I kind of feel like I was the one that was not wanting to do old timey right away. I think that's what you guys wanted to go that direction. I'm like, you're going to take a bodybuilder guy and jump all the way to something that's super unique.
Fail.
Hey, it's a journey. Listen, it's a journey, Paul. And the process of this journey with fitness is trying to figure out how to make it or keep it something that's serving you, not that you're serving it. And it's a hard process, man, and it's an up and down process. I'm still dealing with it. I'm dealing with it right now. So if you're getting some value out of it and you're starting to find yourself, okay, I'm going to change a little of this, that's perfectly fine.
I do think the Sal's series when does it go live?
I think it's maybe soon. Yeah.
So next week, Sal's series goes live, and he has the same problem as you do, and so he's like sharing that process and the struggle of that and what he's doing to work on that. I think it's going to be a great series for you to watch. So make sure you're tuning in on YouTube as he goes through this process, because I think at the bare minimum, the things that you'll pick up from what he's going through, I think will help you in your overall journey. But we totally jumped the shark with trying to get you to go from hardcore bodybuilder, dialed everything guy to like all-time strength is so unique.
I tell you what, can you do this kind of a jump?
Oil and water.
Can we try this kind of a jump? Can you dedicate one day to one of the workouts in old-time strength? So everything else you do with the way you want.
Or just one of the lifts.
Or maybe even just one of the lifts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, some of the lifts, I enjoyed them. They're like a fun challenge. But like I said,
which one?
Which one did you find the fun?
So there was, you guys call it different.
He's like the bicep curl. The bicep curl. Yeah. Was it like a windmill? Did you do something like? Did you like any like the circus press? What else is in that one? That's
circus
unique?
press I like. Windmills I hate because I'm just.
You just gave him all the terminology.
The progressions to Turkish get-ups I like. They're really cool. But you guys, you name them different in the phases, right? I think if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this, Paul. Once a week, can you practice the windmill for 3 sets?
You picked the one I hate.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, I remember part of the reason why we wanted you to go there. We were talking about aging and taking care of the body and all these other things, and we knew that the movements in there are so good to get that are different, right? Moving in different planes, and the windmill is one of the best ones, and it's one of the ones that are normally most glaring for bodybuilders.
Meatheads hate that one.
Yeah, because it's so difficult. But that's even more reason why you should get competitive with it. To get good at it, because it'll serve you.
Can you practice it once a week for 3 sets? I don't care what day you do it on. Just practice.
Yeah, no, I can do that. Okay. I can do that totally. Look, don't get me wrong. Like, rationally, I get the program.
Yeah.
Like, it makes a lot of sense.
No,
we're just razzing.
This is what we're gonna do, Paul. It was our bad.
Yeah, it was our bad.
We're gonna fix this.
I take ownership of that.
We're gonna fix this. Can you?
We should have made it more. Yeah, like a bridge between that.
And don't give me a bullcrap answer. I'm honest, okay? If you think you can do it once a week, then let's start there. Just the windmill. Practice it once a week. We'll have you back on. We're gonna check in with you again.
Yeah. Easy, done.
All right. I don't want to give up.
And I don't either. We're going to solve this. And I definitely think
try
follow
again.
Sal's journey. What'll be great is we get you doing the windmill once a week. Just
That's it.
Practice it 3 sets. That's all we ask. And I would love to see video of how shitty you look right now and where your progress. Okay,
The technique with it.
Yes, I'd like to see you video yourself right now because I know it probably looks terrible right now. And let's see if we can make improvement on that the next time we check in. And hopefully between that and watching Sal's series, you'll get some really good benefit from that. And you'll be very happy. All right?
Deal.
All right, dude.
Deal.
All right, Paul, that's the deal.
I get it, my friend.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you again. We'll see you soon.
I'm going to take off before it gets any worse for me.
All right, my friend.
Take it easy, Paul.
Thank you.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to remember.
For people listening right now, because you'll hear, oh, well, I did this. You hear the excuses and blah blah blah. We messed up.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I know.
This was
like
terrible.
I want to go back and hear. That's why I
know.
hope the editing team can find the original call.
Okay,
and
Adam, you were right.
No, that's not what I mean by that. Like I might have been right with you guys. I'm not.
Yeah.
But I
think we got excited.
If I recall, I think I remember thinking like, oh, this is like hardcore bodybuilder guy, and you're going to throw me an old time.
Well, what it was, if I recall, was we were like, this is the right thing to do.
Yes,
but will
when
he
needs
do it?
Yeah, you need to get this way.
But will he do it?
Yeah,
that was the question.
Yeah, that's why I want to hear us. Like, if we were all, because we might have been already kind of concerned. I'd be interested to hear our talk after. If we were like,
I feel like in our discussion,
I wouldn't be surprised if we're like, he's not going to do it.
I don't know if he's going to do this.
Yeah, I want to hear. I want to hear what we all said because I have a feeling even after we recommended it, that we kind of probably questioned like, he's not going to do it.
Listen, this is the challenge with coaching people on the podcast.
Oh, God,
we have 10 minutes with them.
Yeah.
Because if he was my client, here's what would have happened. I would have said old time strength. 2 sessions in, I'll be like, this is not working. We're backing way off.
Yeah. And then you would have done that. You would have picked one exercise.
That's it.
And you would have kept everything similar.
I might even have done one set. I said 3 to him, and I'm hoping he was committed, in an honest way, because that might even be too much for some people. So it's a very slow process. And this is true for everybody in fitness. For some people, it's just getting them to be consistent. For other people, it's getting them out of their own way because they've been doing the same thing for so long.
Yeah.
And it's a tough process. I know exactly how hard it is. I'm stuck in it myself.
Well,
so
and it doesn't help. And again, I'm sure you can probably talk to this too, is like when you get constant praise for how you look and everything like that from doing the things you've done this way, it's kind of hard to break out of it. It's like, I guarantee anybody who knows him is telling him,
it's a totally different feel too.
Yeah.
It's like, that was all like grinding tough. Like we were trying to really just like rip him out of his comfort zone.
Yeah.
I want to hear the take on it. I'm really curious to how we broke it all down, and then I want to know how we talked like this afterwards. Because I have a feeling,
poor guy just walked into a buzzsaw.
I bet you, one of us right after hung up and be like, he's not gonna do that.
But
shit.
he's also, you could tell though right out the gates, he's a guy I could be totally straight with. Because as he was talking, I know all of us were thinking the same thing. You changed nothing, bro.
Yeah. I'm just like, I
bet
he got more ripped since the last video. He got more.
He just looked at the program and was like, what? No.
I 100%. He said I tried it for a couple weeks. No, you didn't, bro.
Yeah, you like 3.
For what? Not even just one workout.
I don't even. I think he attempted one exercise.
That's why Jessica got mad at me because I gave the names of. He's like, you gave him the answer.
Yes, you remember the names of it. They call it something different. Is that what it is?
In my country, it's the same.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy.
It's all English, bro.
I know.
I want to go. We have to find that. I want to when we have our lunch break. I want to watch that video.
Totally. All right. I know you liked that episode. If you did, check this one out. Shredded, ripped, defined, single-digit body fat.
Yes.
You want to get there? Let's talk about it.
Difficult. And is it worth it? That's a follow-up question.
Yeah. First off, we got to say that. Okay, so single-digit body fat, obviously, body fat percentages that can be represented by one digit, like 3%, 5%, 6%, 9%. That's ripped for men. For women,
add 10%.
Yeah, exactly. You go up about